everyone, and welcome to the Dyslexia Life Hacks Show. I'm your host, Matthew Head, and in this episode, I'm talking to Lauren Jeffery. She is Business and Development Manager for AT Superstore. AT Superstore provides a single online shop to showcase a whole range of assistive technology. Lauren has previously been on the show before, way back in episode 14, where we talked about reading pens and her interaction with the world of neurodiversity. As always, I'll put extended show notes at dyslexialifehacks.com/podcast. Welcome back on the show, Lauren.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
No problem at all. So a few things have changed since the last time we spoke, and not mostly your job, but I want to talk about the travelling you did between the two jobs. Where did you go?
So we started in South America.
Oh, nice.
So we flew over to Brazil, started in Brazil and then worked our way through South America, right up to kind of the north, so Colombia, and then through Central America into Mexico. It seems like a lifetime ago now, but yes, just over a year ago. But a lot of it was fantastic. I mean, a lot of overnight buses, we did a lot of treks as well in South America, which was one of the main reasons we wanted to go and see some of the scenery out there.
Yeah.
Meet the people, see, live how they live. And it was fantastic. It was, some places obviously make you very, very grateful of sort of where you've come from. But it was absolutely fantastic experience. And not that I'm sort of recommending it to everybody, but anybody that has the opportunity to do something like that, absolutely, it is something I will never regret doing. Tough decision at the time, obviously, to kind of pack in everything that myself and my husband had achieved, and it was a hard decision to leave everything here. But we knew it was only going to be a year at most, and then we would be home. So I think that was always nice to have in the back of our minds, knowing that we could do this, tick it off, get it out of our system, and then come back. So it was amazing.
Oh, nice. It's was that just something you'd always wanted to do, or had you and your husband sort of in recent years gone, South America would be cool, and then we started snowballing from there?
Absolutely, as these things usually do. So we've always sort of been into travel. When we both finished university, we did the kind of usual Australia trip. So we again, before we kind of got into our careers, we went over to Australia and travelled that. We actually rented a camper van in Australia and we drove from Sydney up to Cairns. And we were only maybe, early 20s. So we'd always had that kind of travelling bug. And then we actually had some friends that did it, had some friends that did it just before we did. And it was just, it was one of those, we thought, well, if they can do it, let's do it. Let's see how we get on. So it was amazing. A lot of planning. It's not something that you go into lighthearted. A lot of planning. Obviously, it's there are places you inevitably have to be careful, just like everywhere. So it wasn't. Some people say, how was your holiday? And I kind of think, I understand that. I do, but there definitely weren't times where I would class it as a holiday. Sometimes we're tough being away from home, missing people, missing events, and things, but definitely it was fabulous, and I don't regret it at all.
Excellent. So you come back after all the travelling, and I imagine the biggest come down ever, and you decide to actually pick up your career again in neurodiversity and assistive technology. So you hadn't had any, sometimes when you go on travelling or do a bigger life event like that, sometimes it makes you rethink what you want to do when you get back, but you want to get stuck back in again into assistive technology.
I did. I think the experience that I'd already had in assistive technology before I left, it was fantastic. And it was probably the first, I guess, role that I had where I could really make a difference. And that sounds really cheesy. And I completely understand that people might think, okay. But actually, the impact, I think sometimes we underestimate the impact of assistive technology. And I sort of came across this opportunity, and it just seemed like a really kind of good fit for what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve. I think picking up, like you said, with assistive technology and particularly in the neurodiversity sector, I'd met so many people in my previous role of, particularly with dyslexia, who we could really change things for them, and we could really support them, perhaps where they hadn't had it elsewhere. And that was something that it was a real kind of, I guess, boost for me to be able to come back to this sector and actually get back involved with, obviously, the contacts in this sector as well are fantastic. The people that we work with, and people work so hard to make a difference in this sector, and obviously with the assistive technology. And when you see it making a difference and supporting students and adults in the workplace, I think it's so rewarding, and I'll take that every day.
Well, good. Because as we spoke about way back years ago when you were last on the show, that it was your first sort of experience of the sector and neurodiversity in general, as you hadn't really had much to do it before. So clearly you're enjoying the community that's around in neurodiversity world. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's a big thing as well. I think and it's obvious when you go to a lot of these events as well, and the people that you meet, everybody is so passionate about it. So whether it's other companies that are, trying to kind of introduce their solutions, or whether it's you working with schools and you've got kind of, whether it's inclusion leaders or Senko teachers, and the passion that they have about, really providing the support for their students it's lovely to see, and it's really nice to be able to kind of listen to and help them in a way, if we can. And I think I love this industry, and I think I don't think I've worked in an industry whereby you've really felt like you can make a difference. And it's not to everybody. Obviously everybody's different. Every neurodiversity is different. But even when you help those odd few, it's really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. And have you found the industry changed much since you went traveling? Because you sort of had the complete break, and maybe you bumped into neurodiversity around the world as you were doing some traveling, like, actually, we'd have a product for that person if they knew it existed.
Yeah.
But as you come back, did you find anything had changed much? I guess sort of stuff was accelerating out of COVID quicker by that point, and everything had come back to quote unquote normal.
Yeah. I think because of my previous role being more of a single product company, it was slightly different, because obviously everything was around that kind of single product, or a small selection of products. Whereas I think the one thing that I've realized, particularly in my new role with AT Superstore, is just the amount of support that's out there, and just particularly obviously working in assistive tech, the amount of assistive technology out there, some of them being new, obviously in the last couple of months, some of them that I just necessarily hadn't come across yet, because in my old role I wouldn't have done. But it's been really nice to kind of see, because it obviously everybody knows assistive tech can be a minefield, and it can be scary for a lot of people. We don't know where to start, don't know what the solutions are, and what the solutions that we need, or the students or their employees need. So I think that's the only thing that I realized coming back is like, wow, there's a lot of technology out here. And for somebody that's worked in it to feel like that, I can only imagine what it feels for somebody who is starting off from, just trying to find something for either themselves or somebody else. So yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, definitely. So that does bring me nicely around to AT Superstore. And let's start with, what is it?
Yeah, good question. So AT Superstore is a marketplace for all things assistive technology. So the idea behind AT Superstore is to have a centralized place, a centralized platform, for people to be able to look at solutions based on their specific needs. So that might be down to their age, their physical disability, their own neurodiversity. It could be down to any specific needs that they're looking for. So what we wanted to create was a place that people can come to the site. It's a user-friendly platform, nice and easy to use, where people can compare products based on what they're looking for. So it might be down to the capability of the product. It might be down to the cost of the product. And it's a platform for people to be able to shop securely and confidently, knowing that eventually they've got the right solution for their needs. And alongside that, we also provide things like training, demonstrations, having so much AT on the site allows us to obviously work specifically with companies, education establishments to kind of tailor packages as well and tailor assistive technology based on exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah. And because it's sort of, even looking at the site, it's very much a sort of, I'll ask you later on where to start on the site, but it does feel a lot different to having looked at other sites where it is very much look at one product because you look at that manufacturer. So what do you think was the foundation of that? Where did the idea come from and who founded it?
So it's founded by two gentlemen, one called Matthew Dean and one called Anthony Ruck. And they basically discovered a gap in the market for this centralised marketplace. Having worked in the industry for many, many years, I think it was quite clear that there isn't a place that people can come to look over and across many, many different types of assistive tech. So what we cover is not just neurodiversity, but we cover products for low vision, we cover products for hearing impairments, for physical disabilities, and we're building each of these categories. And who we work with essentially are education establishments, so schools, colleges, universities. We work with workplace as well to understand what they're looking for their employees and obviously being able to kind of tailor packages. And we also work with the end user. Now, this was always a real priority. So it's the people that can't attend the events because they are working themselves, the people that can't make the webinars that we often do kind of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Because as I say, they are out at work themselves. And it's anybody that's kind of coming into assistive technology, whether they're looking for themselves or it might be their children or their family members, family friends, employees. And it's just really a nice place to start to think, okay, what do we need and how can we secure that basically? And knowing that they've got the right assistive tech is obviously the most important thing for us. We're impartial. We have all sorts of products on our site. They are all categorized up, so it's nice and easy to be able to look through. So it's not overwhelming for somebody. You can come onto the site, pop in what your needs are. So for instance, we have something called Smart Search. You can put your age in there, the things that you're struggling with, and then it will tailor those products based on your requirements. So hopefully just to make that whole process for people around assistive technology, which can otherwise be scary and not really know where to start, hopefully it makes that whole process a little bit easier.
Yeah, and are you mainly aimed at the sort of, I want to say casual user, but that's the wrong word, but the user who's used to shopping for things off websites that may or may not be named after a river and things like that? Or are you aiming at schools as well? The disabled assistance allowance and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so it's a real range really, and that's what we're really key to get across is we do work with schools inevitably just based on the range of assistive technology on there, because we have a lot of assistive technology that is widely used in schools. So absolutely we work with schools and we tailor those packages. So we work a little bit more bespokely with schools. So it's not just necessarily some will just come onto their site and they'll know exactly what they want because they know about it. We've demonstrated to them, they've met us at an event and we've demonstrated the products, and they'll just happily, buy through the site. And others will want a bit more, whether it's demonstrations, whether it's a conversation with myself or my colleagues to basically understand that what they are looking at is right for them. We try to do it as straightforward as possible. We have every product page is set up exactly the same. Every supplier has to include a video of their products. They have to include the pictures, the descriptions. Obviously, all the costs are on there. All the shipping costs are on there. So we try to make it obviously as user-friendly and as easy as possible. But we also heavily promote the fact that we can work with schools and organisations on that one-to-one basis. So we have a lot of organisations that are looking to purchase for their employees. So whether that's kind of solutions that are going to help them in the workplace, softwares, hardwares, but also, as I say, one key priority for us is reaching those people that maybe are starting out to look for things and just don't know where to start. So yeah, it's a real mixture. Every event we go to has a different audience. We're reaching more and more people every day. More and more, what's lovely to see as well is more and more organic people coming through to the site. So, they are finding us from other ways as well. And that's something that we're really keen to promote, just to help people. And we often have people that will email us just to kind of ask about products, which is perhaps something that you maybe can't do on other sites. And that's something that obviously we're keen to kind of keep going with and be able to answer those questions regardless of what they need from us. We're sort of there for them.
Yeah, because it sounds like you've got a lot more underpinning it than just everything packaged in one place and it's all sort of searchable. So it's not just a click, add to the baskets and buy kind of job. You're saying about the training, emailing you. I guess you're only going to get a few casual people because it's quite. I imagine some of these assistive technologies quite expensive to buy in the first place to be able to just click and drop it in a basket and hope it's the right thing. So you're doing all the trading behind it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's about confidence as well. We said one thing we are keen to portray is that we want people to shop with confidence, and it's all well and good just saying that, but how do we know that they're confident when they're shopping, or like you said, when they're spending money? So I think it's some people, it's just a quick question, can this do this? In which case it's nice and easy. It's a yes or no question. What's nice as well on the site is we work really closely with our suppliers. So all of our suppliers that are listed on the site, we've got really good relationships with. So if it's something that we can't answer, for instance, or we don't know the answer to that, we just very quickly get in touch with our suppliers. So there isn't a question that can come through that we just say, oh, we don't know the answer to that. We will find the answer to that for them. And it's about sort of building that relationship with people as well. We want to be their one-stop shop, if you like, for AT. But they're not just getting the products, but they're also getting the support as well behind it.
Cool. And where do they see it growing to? How are you? Obviously, relatively new to market, but it's kind of packaging an idea up into assistive technology world. But where's the sort of growth on it, and what direction do they see AT Superstore going?
So the growth that we've sort of seen even since I've started, the growth that I've seen in it as well is fantastic. And I think one of the reasons is the conversations that we have. I haven't come across one person yet that's gone, oh, I don't really understand it, or I'm not sure what this concept is, or why I've done this. Every conversation that we have has always been, yeah, there's a need in the market for this. There's companies out there that are looking for ways to promote their products. And actually we offer that in a really kind of cost effective and nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
And for them, it's a nice arm for them to be able to promote their products further into the UK education market, particularly. In terms of growth, we also have the ability to sell internationally. So that is something that is, and we are getting that question more and more. So even in the kind of couple of months that obviously we've been running now, near enough every single conversation we're having, people are asking, right, how can we grow this further? How can we get this over into the US? How can we get this over into Europe? Because I think it's obviously a need here in the UK, but what we're finding is it's obviously a need as well elsewhere. So there's a lot of growth to be had. Products wise, we are welcoming new suppliers and new products onto the site every week. That is a weekly thing. We are building new categories. So what we do internally is we check, right, where are we up to with the categories we've got? Have we got enough products on there for people to be able to compare and to see what's out there? And then obviously that's something that if we see a category and we think, okay, we need to look at that and there needs to be more solutions in that category, then that's something that we work on as a team. So the growth is happening very, very quickly. A lot of meetings, a lot of meetings, a lot of events as well. Obviously, everybody does them, don't they? But the events are fantastic to really get in front of people, explain who we are, what we do. I think any new company coming to market, the first bit is all about kind of the raising awareness. But one thing that's been I guess growing more and more is we're working with a lot of companies that are not just based in the UK. So we also work with a lot of companies based over in Europe, some over in the US, who are, I guess, looking for that platform. And I only had a meeting actually yesterday as a company over in the US that are looking for a platform, to start advertising in the UK. And there are things that we do with our suppliers as well in order to kind of help them. So if we do events, for instance, we just did the TES show and we took some of our suppliers with us on a kind of a sponsor. And it just gives them obviously a platform to kind of promote and demonstrate their products. And they are more than welcome to join us if they like. Any extra hands are welcomed. But yeah, there's a lot of growth in it and it's exciting. And yeah, I can't quite believe I've only been here a couple of months. I feel like I've been here for a lot longer.
And just so you have been busy, seeing how often you post on LinkedIn at some various event you've been at. They certainly have got you driving around the country. You're saying you get new products on all the time, and you're in a nice position now that you're seeing all these various products coming, as you say, internationally as well as from the UK. What has been the most sort of interesting thing? You're like, oh, I didn't even know we had one of them kind of things for this kind of purpose. What really jumped out at you at one point?
Okay, so one thing, obviously, just as one thing I would say is there is one product that we are currently working with and we're actually at contract stage with, so I can't disclose that one, but there's one that has just been added to the site, and I'll say it because it's actually only been added today, and it's the Tippy keyboards, and it is a one-handed keyboard, and it is absolutely fantastic, and I've never seen anything like it before. So the company, I think they are, let me just check this because there's been a few we've been talking to. So I think they are based in Austria, but the gentleman that runs it is fantastic, and they've actually just been added to the site today. So it's a fantastic product. I've never seen anything like it. Likewise, in terms of dyslexia, we also hold a product called LexiLens, which is, I'd never heard of it. The company actually joined us at the TES show, so they brought somebody over. It's a French company, and they are effectively glasses, and they are helping with for students with or adults with dyslexia or visual stress. And the way that it works is you put these glasses on, and they work on two different kind of filters. So one of them affects the flickering, and the other one affects the kind of the color. So where students see like words or letters overlapping on the page, you collaborate these glasses using a little dial, and you kind of alter the flickering and altering the brightness of the glasses. And what it does is it effectively gets rid of that second line. So it kind of eliminates that second line. So all the words and all the letters actually sit as they should on the page.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic product. Cool. And yeah, it's a really, really cool product. And I saw it, we did it, the gentleman that joined us did a demonstration when we were on the stand to one of the delegates that had dyslexia, and I hadn't seen it being done on somebody as of yet. And I saw this, and this guy's face was, I think that they did like a testimonial on it in the end, because he'd never seen anything like it. And it was one of them products that you kind of think, okay, yeah, I need to see this in order to believe it. And when I did, yeah, that was a fantastic. So I think that goes back to what we were saying. I think even being in this sector, there are products coming up and coming all the time that I didn't know existed. And so I can only imagine what it's like for somebody who's sort of, looking out for the first time. But yeah, just to name a few, but we have lots of fantastic products on the site, lots of hardware, lots of software, all very as well, some very, very cost effective. So yeah, it's good. It's a nice venture, but yeah, some of these technologies that are coming through are, mind blowing.
And how do you vet things come on? Obviously, we put the contract to the business negotiation to a side, but how do you vet products? Should we say to keep the quality and standard where you'd like them to be? Is there any process that you can't just roll along with any old thing and you'll put it up on the site as long as it kind of meets a brief? How is your kind of checking in and balance in the background going on?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we have to do, because at the end of the day, it's our reputation on the line as well for these products. And that's something that we obviously take, as every company does, very seriously. So companies to start with, we would usually kind of see face to face. So we'd see the products. So whether that's an event. So for instance, there was the recent ReCare event over in Germany that some of my colleagues attended. You've got things like the TES show, which is a great place to go and kind of network with people, because a lot of them will bring their products. Some products that we've worked with that we know in the market that are, absolutely do exactly what we know they do. Some products that we're less familiar with, that becomes a little bit more rigorous. So as a team, we kind of vet those. Where possible, we will get demo devices sent as well. So just like most companies, we'll check that we're not advertising something that says it does 100 things and actually it doesn't, because as I say, yes, that's our reputation. And I think that also helps with everything else, because when we're talking about these products, okay, we're not going to know the in-depth thing of every single however many products we have on the site, but we need to have an idea of what each of these products do. So when we go to events, when we're talking to people, but that's where it's also nice that we make sure we have good relationships with the suppliers. So if there's something that we can't help with, or we're not sure of, we're all human, we say, okay, leave it with us and we will find out for you. So yeah, they do go through a rigorous process. Yeah, particularly ones that we're, I guess, less familiar with.
Yeah. And how big's the team checking and vetting all these products? Because you must get a few a week.
We do, yeah, absolutely. And what we're finding now is, what we found for the past couple of months is people are now, coming to us, and they've seen the site, they've got a product, and sometimes, it's a product that we've not heard of from, not necessarily from the UK, and they'll come to us and they'll, if it's that kind of situation, then obviously we want to see the products, we want to check them, we want to sort of demonstrate them. So whether it's demo devices, and sort of test the products out and give some kind of feedback. Our CEO and our COO, and then we've also got Kyron, who's our commercial director. So Kyron works on all the kind of website things, and also helps with any kind of, when we do events and things, we join together on those ventures. Karen does a lot in the background, if you like, make sure everything is running smoothly, helps with all the onboarding process. Then there's myself, and then we have two in marketing as well, to kind of push this forward. So a decent sized team for obviously the kind of how new it is, but yeah, I mean it's growing, so it's good. It's an exciting time.
Must be exciting for you being a part of a fairly new startup.
Yes, yeah, definitely, and like I said, it's at the beginning, it's always nice to, I think this is an industry that it is more like a community, and I think particularly like even some of the products to start with, it was a case of, I remember as soon as I was sort of looking at this job, straight away I was thinking, right, we need that product on there, we need all these sort of different products, that because they're just fantastic, and what they do and how they support people are, yeah, sometimes it's amazing to see, and it's just about giving the customers the choice, based on obviously what they want at the end of the day. And it's nice to be able to put them in front of them and say, right, this is what they all do. It's entirely up to you.
Yes, definitely. So if I was said customer and I've Googled assistive technology and all the hits is AT Superstore, and I click on the website, what does it look like to navigate through? And I'm dyslexic customer, we might as well keep it on theme with the show. So how would it look like to navigate the website there for people who want to jump on it after they've listened?
Yeah, of course. So it's so the first thing you come to is our homepage, and then you've got two buttons which say, one says start shopping and the other one says smart search. So they're the best two ways to look up. So if you've got an idea of what you're looking for, so if you're coming on for a specific type of technology, then you can go to start shopping, and that will pull up the categories, and each category, reason why we've done categories is just so you've not got a list of 10, 15, 20 pages of products and not being able to know what they're for. So all the categories, so for example, we have things like a sensory category, we have text to speech, speech to text, mind mapping. You've got low vision category on there, hearing impairment, and then you can click on that category and all the relevant products will come up under that category. When you're on the product page, so they're all listed, and you've got a picture of the product or of the company, whatever they decide to upload. You've got a small section underneath, which is a little description of the product, and it tells you whether it's an online or a physical product. And then straight away, you've got the price as well. So you can compare the products without even clicking on them. And then you can click into the product, and obviously that's where you've got more information on them. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is to use the smart search, which is proving more and more popular. So you go to the smart search, and the first thing you do is select the age. So it's a drag bar. So you drag it to what age it is that you're looking for. And I think that starts from kind of 4+. So we're looking at kind of school year plus, and goes up to 18+. And then it says show assistive technology that helps with, and there's a few different categories. So whether you're looking at seeing, hearing, speaking, organising, physical, and neurodiversity. You can click multiple of those, because one thing that we found is it's quite often that people might struggle with a few things. So it's not just, it might just not just be speaking, it might be organising as well, or vice versa. Click the ones that are relevant, and then all the products that are relevant for those will come up, and they'll be listed on that product. You can obviously then go through the products and see. So very straightforward. You've also got a about us page, and you've got a contact page as well. So the way that it works with our suppliers is they have what we call vendor access. So they have access to their products as well. They can go in at any point and kind of update, amend, change the products. So it's a really kind of user-friendly, nice and easy. There's nothing complicated to it. You can sign up to the account, so you can create an account which signs you up to the newsletter. So when we do things like we run competitions or discounts and things like that, then obviously you can be the first to know.
Yes, yeah, I like the idea of the smart search, and that was kind of where I was going to go if you hadn't sort of pointed us to it. Was that at least you got something that if I don't know what I need, but I know I need something.
Absolutely. So we're finding that that's being used more than the start shopping.
Yes.
Just because it's a little bit more tailored. And what we can do, what's nice about the site is, we've had conversations with companies and they say, well, we don't really fit into any of those categories. That's not a problem. Let's create, another category, because we need to make sure that what we're saying is right. So, if we're saying, it's going to be tailored, I don't want somebody to click on the hearing category and then totally irrelevant products come up under the category. So it needs to be, that's something that we also implement, is that every so often myself and the team will go through the products and we'll, make sure that they are under the correct categories. But yeah, the smart search is a fantastic feature, and I've not really seen that anywhere else.
No, I think that's a powerful feature, isn't it? Because it's not like buying an iPad. You want one, and you might go on Apple's website to see what spec you want, and then 3 different online stores to work out where to buy it from. I imagine most people after this technology, they know the problem they're trying to solve. They just don't know what solutions are there for it.
Yeah, definitely. And the last thing we want to do is somebody to purchase them and then it not be the right solution.
Yes, definitely.
Because we've all been there. I think I maybe even mentioned this in the last podcast, but the amount of schools you used to go to, and they'd have assistive tech tucked away in a drawer somewhere. They haven't used in however long, or they bought something and then they're not used it. So we come back to that whole kind of confidence thing, and that's something that you'll see bounced around with AT Superstore, because it's not just about, okay, there's your technology and off you go. It's like, there's your technology. Okay, what else do you need? Let's do a training session on it. Let's understand how to use it, how it works. So you continue to use it, and actually it is then going to benefit you, rather than just, well, I bought it. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's great, but are we using it?
Turns up in the post unwrap the box now. Good. What do I do with it now?
Yeah. I'll come back to that. I'll look at that in a couple of weeks. Like, no, you've spent the money on this. It's time to use it. Let's get the use out of it.
And definitely something like schools or somewhere else where the end user isn't necessarily the one clicking to the website. You need the person who bought it on board, and then the person who bought it to cascade it properly to the person who's going to use it.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. And one thing that we've actually done with schools, and it's more recently we've done this, but so we had a school, it was actually from the TES show. I was talking to this teacher and she said, I know the impact of assistive technology, but my colleagues don't. So we said, okay, well, why don't we look at doing something like a day, like a training day of, you can go through the site in your own time, pick out a few products that you are, thinking about or you're interested in, but you maybe don't necessarily know what they do or how they work. And what we'll do is we'll organise a day and we'll go through each of those products with you. So straight away you can see that you know what you're buying, you know that it's going to meet the needs that you need it to. But also, obviously, things all being online now, you can invite your colleagues to that. So that's the beauty of having a range of products, being able to say, okay, well, maybe this one's not right for you, but let's have a look at this one because this has got different features. So it's nice to be able to offer different solutions. If one particular one obviously isn't right, and vice versa.
Yes, definitely. Well, cool. Well, what I'm thinking of doing is starting to wind up the podcast. Now, every guest that comes on the show gets 3 rapid fire questions of me, and you have obviously already answered these being a previous guest on the show. But I get the feeling it's been so long, nearly 4 years since you've been on, you've probably forgotten your answers from the first time.
Yeah, and I definitely don't remember the answers that I gave, so.
You didn't listen to the show again as research and prep, no? So, I thought we'd dive into them again. So, question number 1. What prejudice have you had about dyslexia that's been proven wrong?
Ooh, okay. So I would say actually this comes from an example that I had from a student. She was a college student, and I remember her telling me a story of when she was in high school. She used to get shouted at a lot from her teacher, and she was not a naughty child at all. And she had dyslexia. It was just undiagnosed, and nobody really understood. And I remember her saying that the teacher would give them a worksheet, and the teacher would always be saying, stop talking or just get on with your work, just do this. And I remember her saying to me, it wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. It was because I couldn't read what was in front of me. So she said, I used to ask my friends or, other people. And then that's when the teacher would say, be quiet, stop getting distracted. And I think it's maybe that for me is the prejudice of people not really understanding it, not really getting it, and actually jumping to kind of other conclusions. And it was only later on when she got diagnosed that obviously it was just understood, and she understood it herself, but then it also meant that people around her understood it. So I think that would be my answer, is just to, I guess, the lack of understanding around dyslexia and sometimes what that means for a student.
Okay. And question number 2, if an alien landed and you had to describe dyslexia to them, how would you do it?
Oh, okay. I would say that dyslexia is how the brain processes language. So I would say, obviously, everybody is different. Not one dyslexia is the same as the other. Some it might be due to the words on the page. Some it might be due to the processing of the words. So I would say that how they learn is different. I actually saw a quote today that was from a head teacher of a school that said something like, students, this isn't going to be word for word, but I'll give it a go. Said something to do with students achieve because they learn differently and not despite it. So they succeed because they learn differently and not despite it. So I think it's understanding that it's just a different way of learning and a different way that your brain processes the language.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Cool. And rapid fire question number 3, and you're not allowed to answer AT Superstore for this one. But seeing as this is the Dyslexia Life Hack show, what is your favourite dyslexia life hack?
Ooh, okay. Good question. My obvious one would be technology, not just AT Superstore. Just seeing the impact of it. However, I think the process of diagnosing it earlier is very, very important. I think, and whether that's a hack or not, but I think it's becoming more and more evident that obviously in order to understand it, it needs to be understood, and to be understood, it needs to be diagnosed earlier. So that would be my kind of hack. And aside from that, I would say just the impact of AT, I think, as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Well, that leads me to ask you, is there anything more you'd like to add, and where can people find AT Superstore?
So nothing particularly more that I'd like to add. Obviously, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to reach out, and the address is just www.atsuperstore.com. So feel free to have a browse.
I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been lovely to catch up again.
Yeah, great. It has been really cool to talk to you again. And I want to thank everybody else for taking the time to listen. And I'll speak to you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.